One, please. Thank you.
Stop. Ready? Just copy.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Community Talk Show. I'm your host, Mohammed Amin. Inshallah, this evening, distinguished guest is Cllr Mariam Khan, who is our sitting councillor for the Alum Rock Ward here in Birmingham. We will be talking to her in English, and I will cover off bits at the end in Pahari. And in addition, in the second session of my show, we have another distinguished guest, Cllr and we'll talk in Pahari language then. So as always, we break up the program, and we'll cover a couple of interesting topics which are fairly relevant to our city of Birmingham, and more importantly, the inner city subwards. Without further ado, I'll go over to my distinguished guest, and then we'll cover off any other points later on. Assalamu alaikum, Cllr Mariam Khan. Welcome to my show. Really privileged to see you, and thank you very much for taking the time out. And I know it's not easy, especially in the evening.
Walaikum assalam, and good evening to everybody that is listening and obviously watching as well. Thank you for inviting me on your show. It's a privilege and honour to finally be here in person. I know previously I've been
I was going to say, I know you've previously been here,
but this is the first time I've been here in person. Yeah, of course. Right. So thank you for having me.
Cllr Mariam Khan, you've been the councillor for our Alum Rock Ward, and obviously I can say a number of things, but I want to give you the opportunity today and just brief the viewers and the listeners how long you've been a councillor in this ward, and we then just move on to local initiatives.
So I have been a councillor in the ward since 2012. I was first elected, so I've served in my third term now. I was first elected in 2012 at the age of a very young age at the time, at the age of 21. That's and I am grateful to residents of Alum Rock who put their faith and trust in me. That was many years ago, and I was a young councillor, the youngest in the city at the time. So it's been 9 years now, approaching almost 10 years. But I have been a councillor. In fact, I was a councillor for Alum Rock before it was Alum Rock.
That's right. That's right. It was the Washwood Ward. I do remember. Yeah.
So that's how long I have been serving the ward for.
And during this time, you've been involved in various local initiatives. I want to hone in on, especially, which is a big issue now in the Alum Rock Ward, is fly tipping and litter. And something that you as a councillor, together with Councillor Mohammed Idris, arranged last week, and that's what I would like to just have a quick discussion about that, because this is part of the 7.2 million initiative by Birmingham City Council, and I want your views and your observations of the events last Thursday, I think it was, and obviously we were there from Radio Aapke Awaaz, recording it live, seeing the people come to that special site, but I just want information from you to say, on the day, it looks easy for me to say, right, these cars are coming in and they're offloading their rubbish into the van, but it's not easy. How long did it take to do that special collection?
So, first of all, you touched on one of the biggest issues that we've got in our ward currently is the issue around rubbish and fly tipping. I completely agree with you. If I was to, knock on 10 doors and speak to 10 different residents from any part of Alum Rock, I'm pretty sure at least 9 out of 10 of them would agree or probably bring forward to me that one of the biggest issues is around the cleanliness of our local area. And people are obviously upset, frustrated, annoyed at the fly tipping hotspots that we have in the ward, and also the level of, or the lack of, street cleaning that takes place. And then, what goes hand in hand with that is the fact that we have so much litter being dropped in the first place. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Unfortunately, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of educating people. But specifically in relation to the thing that you've touched on around the mobile household recycling centre, you're right. It is one of the initiatives that Birmingham City Council has introduced as part of the £7.2 million funding, extra resources going into trying to clear up the rubbish in our streets, not just in Alum Rock. I wish it was all about Alum Rock. Not just in Alum Rock. This is across the city. And as part of that, there are a number of different things. So there are an increase in enforcement crews, additional fly tipping crews. They are purchasing, or in the process of purchasing, 12 cameras that will be citywide to try and help with prosecuting people who are illegally dumping. And so there's a whole list of different things that come within that 7.2. One of which is, like you said, the mobile household recycling centre. And we were lucky enough to have had our first visit last Thursday. We organised for it to come to Alum Rock in the Masjid Ali car park on Aston Church Road. And I know that prior to this, a lot of other wards in the city had started to see the household recycling centre visiting their ward. And the idea behind that is that, in fact, lots of people had said to me that, if people can drive, this is a question that I did have a few people had asked me on